Hello everybody, you're joining me for day 6 and 7 of the Expo. It's going to be another of those mixed ones today because we have several manufacturers. In fact, you'll probably be joining me for day 8 as well by the time I get this edited and sent out, because there's only a couple more hours whilst I'm recording this of what we're looking at now, which is the MPUV bunch from Argo. As you can see, the raft and the mole. But we are still going to show you around this floor. I expect this floor is going to be very limited and have lots of holograms. The maps on this server look a bit balked, which doesn't really help. So some of the textures are playing up. Never mind, we shall go and have a look. Straight away off the bat, as you come into the hall, from Kruger, we have the lovely Merlin and the Archimedes. I did like the Archimedes. I had one at one point. I had the Emerald one, which was the green one. However, its cockpit was horribly tinted orange and was awful to play. I can't remember which video I did that it's in, but I love the ship. They just ruined it with that particular skin. But if you fly a normal one, it's fine, and of course you get one if you own a Constellation Phoenix, so good fun with those. As we move up forward to the Argo stuff, I'm sorry if my throat sounds a bit claggy today. I'm a bit claggy. We have the Argo Air Astronautics offerings on show, and that will be the MPUVs. So we've got the Argo Cargo, which is this one, and I think that's the one that won best in show, isn't it, the other year? It was like the meme ship. And then the MPUV, which is the personnel variant over on this side. Everyone seems to have frozen in place, which is quite funny. So yeah, this one's like a transport ship, and these are for if you own like massive capital ships, say like an Idris or something like that, and you need to transport personnel or certain bits of cargo up to the up to orbit away from the surface, rather than taking your gigantic ship down to the planet and using ridiculous amounts of fuel to do so. A bit more economical. And at the back we have the Mole, which is the multi-personnel mining ship. So if you fly one of these, then you do lots and lots of mining, and you have 3 people sat inside. So one in the bottom bit there, and then there's 2 side mining turret things hidden under these bits there. There's one of them. Very profitable if you're into mining and you have people to play with. I don't do much mining. I don't really find it that fun in Star Citizen. It's not my thing. I like cargo running and just being lazy, which is what this is for. So this is the raft. This is Argo's first offering for cargo ships, and this one's going to be a bit more fun when the cargo refactor comes into play in 3.18. You have these big cargo containers underneath for transporting and dropping cargo. It has like a big tractor beam assembly underneath that to help move these things around. I don't think we'll get that straight away, but it's something to look forward to, just like lots of other things in Star Citizen. It is quite an able cargo ship on itself, so if you're just starting cargo running and you love the industrial look and design of this thing, then it's very much worth your time to fly, because it is good fun. Let's go and see what else we've got kicking around. As we come into the bottom floor, we have the offerings from Greycat. So you can see we've got the rocks, both of them, so the rock and the rock DS, as you can see. So this one you just have a person who can operate this thing, and in this you operate it on your own. So these are mining cars, is I suppose the best way to put them. So you can have a multi-person one or a single-person one, and these are best for mining on the ground instead of using like hand mining tools. You can put them in a ship, make money, put the car back in your ship, and then fly and drop off your resources. Probably not advisable to do quantum mining, but you're normally in a ship if you're doing that anyway. Here we have the recently released STV, so like Greycat's little mini BMW buggy. These are quite fun to use. It's just like a city car. I haven't really got a way to describe this. It's just a fun little buggy to drive around in. Kind of like the Tumbril Cyclone, which I imagine we'll see in a minute, because I know that's one of the vendors that's around. But this is sort of a more, I would say, scaled back version. It's not quite as batshit as, say, like the Tumbril, the Cyclone RC. And then we have the original Greycat PTV, which is the sort of thing that is inside hangars and capital ships. It's basically used like as a little inside buggy to get around. There was lots of these during the Siege of Orison to help you move around on the ground, although they weren't really advisable because you just get shot out of them by the NPCs. So yeah, that's Greycat's offerings for this year. There's some more over here. Aha, so this is the Consolidated Outland hover quad. This is fairly new as well. I did a video with this not too far back, where I was in the big chunky spacesuit and I flew up the Microtech River and blew up. I like this. It's very quick, very nippy, and in fact I would say a bit more agile than the Nox that I own and love. But I still couldn't make it up and down the river. I could make it up the river, but as soon as I tried to come down the river, I clicked a rock and blew up. And that seems to be a running theme when I try and do the river runs on these things. But yeah, different kind of hover vehicle if you like your hover vehicles and you aren't into the Nox or the Dragonfly. In the main hologram room, we've got the Argo SRV. So this is going to be Argo's newest offering. I think it's called the Service Relief or Recovery Vehicle. So it's like a tractor beam ship essentially for search and rescue operations. So again, not my kind of thing, but I can see its use coming forward in the persistent universe as things start to get bigger, especially if we start doing things like pyro and the distances get larger and larger and we need recovering if you want to save your ship. That especially with the new mechanic of the soft death of ships where they don't blow up, they just get disabled. And in this section here is Consolidated Outlands Pioneer. This one is still a long way off, but it's nice to see the hologram of it again. This is like a gigantic capital, it looks like a giant aircraft carrier, and it's designed for constructing outposts. So it basically makes outpost prefabs inside, and there isn't much detail in them all, so it's hard to see. But it basically makes prefabs. You land on a planet, it opens the bottom up and drops the prefab unit on the planet and or moon that you're landing on to help you construct outposts. So this thing is a very early concept from years and years and years and years ago, and hasn't gotten that much further because at the end of the day it's not a priority right now, but it's still nice to see and a cool idea. And in one of the side hangars, as you can see, or side rooms, I don't know what you want to call it, side halls, probably the better one, is the offerings from Consolidated Outland that we have. And that will be the Mustangs, which are, I want to say they're nice starter ships. They fly great and they're fun to fly, but they're a bit balked when it comes to missions. They do have better underslung like cargo things now that you can access to put boxes in for box missions. And I would say the beta here, if you're going for a starter ship because you like the design, is probably the best one because it's got a little habitation area in the back. But they are the sort of, personally opinionated here, that the weaker option for the starter ships if you're going to pick a starter ship for the game. There is far better options, I feel. Looks like the very beloved Penguin, Avenger Titan, and the 100i. Both, I think, are better. Different variants of them. There's the Beta, which is the one with habitation. I think that's the Gamma there, which is the racing one. There's the Alpha, which is the bog standard one. And then there's the Delta, which is that one, which is the military one. That one's just got lots of guns on it, so that's your dogfighting one. And then their newer, I want to say, sort of intermediary starter ship is the Nomad, which I did do a video on, so you can go back and have a look if you've not seen this before. And this looks like the Asp from Elite Dangerous. Everyone is going to say that instantly because I think it does as well. But it's a floating, so you can see it has no landing gear. It floats when it lands, and it's the outer space pickup truck if you've not seen it before. With the ramp on usefully for me. So lots of people use this to, this came out sort of the same time as the rock that we saw in the basement area there. So you can stow your rock or your land vehicle in the back here, and it's open to space. This is not enclosed at all. Or you can use it for cargo, so it can be used as a little cargo transport as well. But you go inside and it's got a cool, very modern looking habitation area and you know, R&R area inside, so it's a fun little ship. I would say this is a nice solo ship if you just want to explore the game and you know you've got room for habitation to sling cargo around. It's I like it, but it's not the ship I will be using. So that would be day 6's offerings. So now we'll go down the elevator and we'll have a look at day 7's. And I imagine by the time I finish recording this, we'll be having a look at day 8's as well. I don't even know who day 8 is. So let's go and have a look. And as we come up for day 7's offerings, we can see some giant Herculi looming out in the distance before us. Let's see if this map's still a bit blurry as well. Oh no, this one's okay. If you ever get these blurry textures, by the way to fix it is just to change server, because it just means the server's not rendering in stuff properly. Or clear out your cache as well, that can help. But in today's offering, day 7, it even says it on the map, look, even I've not noticed that before. We have the offerings from Crusader, and we have the Tumbril stuff downstairs, plus some holograms, so we're going to go and have a look. These are the Herculi, and I love these things so much. I currently have one. I have this one, which is the bog standard C2, that was like upgrade summer referral reward. And it's the biggest ship in-game at the moment that you can use for cargo running. So if you're interested in the game at the minute is cargo running, then this is the biggest one. Bigger than the Caterpillar at the moment. However, it is not specifically a cargo ship. None of them are. They are essentially transports. And this is what their onus was when they were made, is things like vehicles. So the tanks and all the land vehicles I'm about to show you, they were designed in mind with being able to just drive these into the ramps at both ends and then take them to other places safely and quickly. On the left hand side is the military version of the M2 here. So I think it's got a little less cargo space in it if I remember right, but it's got more armour when armour becomes a variable stat in game, because at the moment it really isn't. And it's got more guns essentially. So I think it's got one more turret on the back. And it has like a armory area for crew, so you can go and store more weapons and gun racks and things, as opposed to like a habitation and an R&R area, which is what the C2's got in it. So the clue's in the name: C2 civilian, M2 military. And then you have the A2, which is just insane. So the A2 is a bomber. It sounds ridiculous because even when I still think about it now, you know, we have things like the Retaliator and the Eclipse, but this thing is just the ridiculously overpowered nuke ship, is the best way to put it. So it has guns everywhere. It has more guns on it. Same kind of loadout as the military one upstairs. The least cargo space of all three of them, but that is because when you come to the back here, you can see these things, these giant launchers, and these drop these things. MOB 012 ordnance. So nuclear bombs. They're not nukes, they're not actually nukes, they're just very, very big explosives. You can see they've got these awesome tail fins that deploy when you drop them out of the ship. And you get 4 of them. They sort of load themselves into these bays here that open when you activate the bombing display HUD in the ship. And then it drops one, and then it spins this thing round, rotates, and uses an arm to lower the other one. And it's very cool to watch if you've not seen it. And then you drop the bomb, and then you get the hell out of there. Because these things have a massive, massive kill range. And often, more often than not anyway, blow up the ship that you, blow up your ship. As well as everything else, especially if you were too low. So you do have to be very careful when deploying these things, but they are very, very fun. This ship is the most expensive out of the lot. This ship is like $750. It's a lot of money for this ship, but it is a lot of fun. Used to great effect if you've ever watched my videos or other people's videos during things like Jump Town. So when you're doing the drug running, some person, to put it politely, will fly one of these and just drop the bombs on Jump Town and kill everyone and everything around the building. Just not because they are trying to get bounties or anything like that, but they're just doing a Joker and they want to watch the world burn, quite literally, because they have the ability to do it. So yes, something to keep in mind. Where can we go next? We need to find the map again and then go and check one of the side halls. We'll check the basement first, and as we come down